Hello everyone, how are you doing? My name is Ryan Kelly and I'm going to be your host for the first episode of Know Your Bosses. Know Your Bosses, if you are not aware, is a show where I will review some of the most classic of bosses to the less known bosses. I will rank them based on their difficulty, creativity, appearance, and fighting style. And in the end, bosses will get a ranking from avoid the fight to pursue the fight. Don't worry, for anyone who's confused on my ranking, I will put a ranking from 1 to 10 at the bottom also. So now that I have quickly gone over the rules, we can talk about the boss that we will be fighting today. The boss we're going to be talking about today is from one of the most beloved classic retro games for the SNES. Since our pilot episode of Know Your Bosses, we talked about the Parasite Queen, we'll be talking about something else from a Metroid game. But what Metroid game can we be talking about? There's so many great ones, and then there's Metroid Other M. Don't want to talk about that one, but anyway, we're going to be talking about Super Metroid. Super Metroid has many great bosses, but I think the boss that we're going to be going with is one of my favorites from Super Metroid, the King of the Hill boss, Crocomire. Location. In Super Metroid, there are 6 areas that you can explore in and get various types of power-ups and kill many types of creatures. Now for today's video, we're going to be talking about where to find Crocomire. Crocomire is located in the depths of Norfair. You will find this boss a little bit after you face Kraid and Brian Star, which we will cover later on. Norfair is not too hard to navigate through, but if it's your first time playing through the game, I would suggest having a guide open so that you can see where you're supposed to be. Norfair has a lava theme to it, which is a perfect setting for fighting Crocomire. Also, there's a room before you face Crocomire where you can grind for full health. I can't rank the area based on difficulty because there are many different rooms that you can choose to go through. There's also many different ways to approach getting through a room, based on your skills in Super Metroid. Before facing the boss, make sure you grab the Wave Beam. The Wave Beam can help quite a bit with beating Crocomire. Also, make sure that you save so you don't have to repeat any unnecessary parts of the game. Boss information. I know Crocomire is a mini-boss, but just because he's a mini-boss doesn't mean he doesn't get the same respect as the main bosses in this game. The name Crocomire is a combination of the 2 words crocodile and mire. The name for Crocomire in Japanese is Kirakameya. As of now, the only game that Crocomire has appeared in is Super Metroid, but he was actually supposed to have an appearance in Metroid Fusion and in Metroid Prime 3, but they got cancelled for unknown reasons. Still, even though he was supposed to be in 2 other games but were cancelled in the last minute, I wouldn't be surprised if he appeared in another game in the future. Actually, there is a boss from Metroid Other M. Ugh, gross, I'm sorry. Saying Metroid Other M burns my tongue, but anyway. That is very much like Crocomire. And that boss is the Vorash. Vorash? Is that how you say it? Yeah, Vorash is the Vorash. Yeah. The Super Metroid manual states that this huge creature has a sticky skin and spits plasma balls. When adventurers attempt to fight the Crocomire, it becomes angrier with every blow. Mashita stated at one point that Crocomire was drawn to look more cute than the other monsters in the game so that the player would feel sad about killing the creature. I personally don't think Crocomire is really that cute, but I mean, I won't judge if you think the Crocomire is cute. I'm just saying, look at it. Ugh. I thought of something that's a little bit sicker than Crocomire itself. Crocomire's mother. Strategy. This is going to be the interesting part. Now we get to talk about how to fight this boss. This boss has no pre-fight to it, so there will be no pre-fight about this boss. This fight starts when you drop to the bottom of the room, and you will hear some roars, and then you will see Crocomire slowly creep up across your screen. You should notice that this is not a traditional fight. To the left of you is a wall of spikes, and to the right of you is a pit of lava. Obviously, you guys can put one and one together that this is going to be a fight to see who's going to be the king of the hill. I know you don't fight Crocomire on a hill, but still, that doesn't matter. It sounds cool if you say you're the king of the hill. Anyway, Crocomire has two moves that will influence the winner of the battle. His first attack is his Raking Claws of Death. His Raking Claws can push you back, and that will take away 20 damage. And his other attack he has, which is probably his most annoying attack, is his projectiles that come from his mouth. His projectiles do 10 damage if you get hit by it. Now, if you try to kill the monster by shooting at it, you can't kill it like that. You might be wondering, well, how do I kill it, Ryan? Well, what you have to do is shoot it in the mouth with a charge beam, missile, or super missile, which will cause Crocomire to step backwards. And remember how I said there's a pit of lava behind him? Well, I think you get the idea. If you don't, you pretty much just have to keep shooting him in the mouth until he falls into the lava and to become bone. Sounds easy enough. Something you should know while trying to kill this boss. Make sure that you watch out for when he tries to push you backwards. You see, he has a way more powerful shove than you do, so just keep that in mind. So once you've shoved Crocomire into a pit of lava, you can proudly prance to the wall that is covered in spikes and wait. You will hear and feel a huge earthquake, and BAM! Crocomire is back and ready to destroy you. Here he goes for an epic fight to the... Wait. Oh. Okay then, so he's just dead? Is that all? Alright then, so I guess he's dead. He didn't even try to take a swing. Alright. So the whole point of him coming up back from the lava ground was just to break the wall for you. So he was being your friend so that you could advance in the game. Okay then, that's what bosses do. They come back up from the lava, hit a wall so that you can proceed in the game to get the grappling beam. Which, by the way, you can achieve the grappling beam by beating this boss. Well, I hope that he had a blast because I'm gonna keep going with the flow. Oh my gosh, this is why I shouldn't try to do puns. Okay, I'll cool down with all the puns. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm done for real. I couldn't resist that one. That one was just too easy. Final thoughts. Crocomire is definitely a weird boss. The way you fight him is very different from other bosses that you fight in the Metroid games. And he is described as cute. Yeah, I still don't really understand the whole cute thing, but okay then. I don't know where to start with wrapping up on what I think about this boss. I guess if I was to start anywhere, I should start with the fact that the boss, for sure, gets a 1 out of 5 for pre-fight hype. Since there wasn't really any pre-fighting for this boss, and there was no cutscene for the boss. And I'm not mean enough to give him a 0 out of 5. He gets a 2 out of 5 for gameplay. The reason why it gets that score is because the gameplay feels very repetitive and can feel like you are spamming buttons to try to kill it. The difficulty of this boss is a 2 out of 5. The boss isn't too difficult. If you have all the missiles that you can get up to that point in the game, then you can just spam missiles at it until it's off the other side of the cliff. The boss's fun factor gets a 3 out of 5 because, as I said before, it is very repetitive, but not so repetitive that it's just so boring that this boss is like, I'm so done. And finally, creativity gets a 5 out of 5 because you cannot kill it by traditional methods. You have to shove it back into its fiery death. So if I use all these points to round up the final score, I would say this boss gets the rank of Face It. Yeah, I really love this boss, but I have to say there are a few flaws with it. I love the way that you have to kill the creature, but I don't love the way you have to do it, if that makes sense. All you really need to do is jump and shoot for the whole fight. I'm not even going to get into jumping and shooting bosses. I'll talk about that in a future video. If you're fast, you can just spam missiles into its mouth. So now that we're at the end of the video, what do you think about this boss? Do you think this boss deserves a higher ranking or a lower ranking? Let me know in the comments if you enjoyed the video or not. Make sure you click the like button if you liked the video, and maybe click that subscriber button. I'm sorry to bring it up, but it really helps if you subscribe to my channel because it really helps me make more videos like this. thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Ryan Kelly, and I will see you in the next episode of Know Your Bosses.